Title: The Haunting of Ashford House, a True American Nightmare. It began on a chilly October evening in 1982, when the Ashford family, Mark, Lisa, and their young daughter, Emily, moved into a century-old colonial on the outskirts of a quiet Midwestern town. The house, built in 1895, had long been the subject of local lore. Neighbors spoke in hushed tones of unexplained happenings and tragedies that had plagued the property for decades. What they didn't know was that soon, the family would be drawn into a living nightmare that history itself seemed to have cursed. Mark recalled, "There was something about that place, a mixture of charm and sorrow. We didn't realize we were stepping into a chapter of history far darker than we could imagine." The home's exterior, with its weathered clapboards and creeping ivy, hinted at its age. Inside, however, the grand foyer was lined with portraits of solemn-faced ancestors whose eyes seemed to follow every step. It was a picture-perfect new start for the family. Until the disturbances began. It wasn't long after settling in that Emily started speaking of a lady in white who visited her room at night. At first, Lisa dismissed it as a child's fanciful play, but soon, inexplicable sounds shattered their quiet routine. Footsteps echoed in empty hallways, and soft, sorrowful whispers drifted through the walls after midnight. One night, Mark awoke to find a cold draft circling his bed, even though every window was shut tight. In the mirror across the room, a fleeting reflection revealed a gaunt, spectral figure standing just behind him. The phenomenon escalated quickly. Objects would move on their own, and the air would grow oppressively heavy as if the very house were gasping in pain. In the attic, they discovered a dusty leather-bound journal, its pages filled with frantic scribbles and pleas for mercy. The entries told of a tragic past, a young woman named Eleanor Ashford, whose life ended under mysterious circumstances nearly a century ago. Locals believed she had been driven mad by forces lurking within these walls, and her restless spirit was said to haunt the very rooms where her misery unfolded. Compelled by mounting fear and curiosity, Mark began digging into the property's past. He learned that in 1910, Eleanor's life was cut short after a series of unspeakable events rocked the household. Rumors of betrayal, hidden family secrets, and even dark rituals had swirled around the tragic demise of Eleanor and her kin. According to local archives, during a stormy autumn night much like the one they now endured, the family in the house had vanished, leaving behind only shattered remnants of their former life and a legacy of grief. The deeper Mark delved, the more it became apparent that the house was a repository of sorrow. One particularly stormy evening, as the wind howled outside and rain lashed the windows, Lisa experienced a chilling vision. In the dim glow of the living room, she saw Eleanor standing near the staircase, her eyes hollow and pleading. The apparition mouthed a silent message, "Help me. Free me," before vanishing into the darkness. That night, the atmosphere in Ashford House shifted from eerie to outright hostile. As midnight approached, the disturbances grew violent. Doors slammed without warning, and an ear-splitting scream tore through the silence, a sound that no human should be capable of making. Mark and Lisa huddled together in the kitchen, trying to console a terrified Emily who insisted that something was coming for her. In the midst of the chaos, the family called local paranormal investigators, who arrived armed with recording equipment and determination. The investigators' footage later captured fleeting glimpses of a shadowy figure gliding through the hall, its eyes glinting with a malevolent light. One expert, his voice trembling as he reviewed the recordings, remarked, "I've seen many hauntings, but this energy is different. It's as if the house itself is alive with grief and anger." Over the next few nights, the investigators documented disturbing phenomena that defied explanation. In one recorded session, an antique mirror in the foyer revealed not only the investigators' reflections but also the distorted, anguished visage of Eleanor. In another, unexplained knocks echoed from inside the walls, synchronized with the sound of a heartbeat that seemed to emanate from the very structure of the home. Local historians later confirmed that Eleanor's story was more than mere legend. Records indicated that her death had been ruled an accident at the time, but whispers in town suggested foul play and a cover-up involving influential members of the community. The truth, however, remained buried under layers of time and silence. For the Ashford family, the terror became unbearable. Sleep was replaced by sleepless nights of paranoia and dread. The house, once a symbol of new beginnings, had transformed into a prison of supernatural torment. One final night proved too much. As the relentless barrage of ghostly phenomena reached its peak, Mark made the heart-wrenching decision to leave. Packing up hurriedly, the family fled the house, leaving behind almost everything they had brought with them. They later spoke of the overwhelming sensation that they were not just escaping a building, but fleeing from an ancient sorrow that clung to every stone and crevice. Today, Ashford House stands abandoned, its windows dark and its halls silent, yet the local community knows better. Residents passing by on stormy nights still report a chill in the air and the faint sound of footsteps echoing in the distance. Some say they see a woman in white at the window, her face etched with eternal grief, as if still pleading for the release that was never granted. The paranormal evidence collected during the Ashford investigation remains sealed in local archives, a stark reminder of the true events that unfolded within those walls. While skeptics may argue that the experience was a series of unfortunate coincidences or the product of an overactive imagination, those who were there know the difference between myth and the living, breathing echoes of a tragic past. The haunting of Ashford House serves as a chilling reminder that some histories are best left undisturbed. Whether it was Eleanor's desperate cry for help or the culmination of generational pain, the events that transpired in that old colonial home continue to spark debates and terrify those who dare to listen. As you close your eyes tonight, consider the possibility that some places hold on to memories so potent that they bleed into the present, reminding us that the past is never truly gone. Remember, in the quiet corners of our world, history may be whispering to us, pleading for acknowledgement, or perhaps warning us to stay away. This story is based on events reported by those who experienced them firsthand. The records and personal accounts referenced here have been part of local lore for decades, blurring the line between legend and reality. Keep an open mind, and be careful where you lay your head tonight.